Okay everybody, Square Foot Garden update time. We are getting the beds turned over, getting ready for the fall coming up. Start kind of planting in September to August, or excuse me, August to September, because August usually comes first. I've got these pickling cucumbers. These were the National Pickling, came from the dollar store. Hadn't really done much all season. I've had a lot of stuff like this right here, which looks like pollination issues, but they just have not produced. I did get a few and they're starting to produce a little bit, so I may let them stay just for a little longer and see what we get, but I'm tempted to pull those up. I thought about putting some pole beans in there, but if they're gonna produce, I may leave them. We're getting a lot of good sized jalapenos in here now. I've got these squares here I'm getting ready. They're gonna be my lettuces, my kale, some carrots, things like that. Although I may have to put carrots in buckets because this soil is super hard. This is nothing but compost. And I always talk about with Square Foot Gardening, if you go get the book, Mel Bartholomew, who created the method, talks about making a Mel's mix, which is 1/3 compost from multiple sources, which this comes from the county landfill and it's super rich. So you can just get that, screen it out, and then also 1/3 peat moss and 1/3 vermiculite. This year I was going to cheap out because that stuff adds up, and it's biting me because this is so thick. If you were to try to plant carrots in this, your carrots will be all forked and funky. So I think I'm either going to have to dig down in this and make this be, you know, mix it in, or either I may do root vegetables. Where I'm having an issue is over here with my peppers. My peppers are not very big, and I've got a really deep bed. I'm watering them just as good as you're supposed to, but they're all real small like this. And if anybody knows why, let me know. But my theory is that even though I've got deep soil, the roots can't get down in that soil because it's compacted, because it's just the compost. And I think if I were to mix that in, last year I mixed it in with I had Mel's mix, and I had big peppers. I had not had that size peppers in a while, so I think that's part of my problem. The zinnias are doing good. The butterflies are loving that. That's always fun to come out here and watch these things. And if you want a little table setting, you just come clip you some. They take over. These will have seeded all down here in the grass. So next year I'll be able to get seed out of the ground, out of the grass, if I don't spray Roundup on this. But these are all from right here in the path. I took a few plants and put them in, and they took over. So when you look at the spacing on them, it says to plant them at 1 per square foot, and you can see why, because they branch out. They make a ton of them. And if you go back in, you start cutting these out, which maybe you want to take them inside again, put them in a vase, then they're gonna just make even more and branch out even more. Isn't that cool though? We got cucumbers here. The heat's taking a toll on them. Also pickle worms. I've given most of my cucumbers away. I have eaten some of them, but I hadn't saved enough to pickle myself. And I don't know if I'm gonna start a new batch of plants and maybe plant them somewhere else. Maybe build a little box along the side here and make a little trellis and try to plant them, and let these go as well, or if I want to pull these up. But they're only supposed to be taking up 1 square here, but they're kind of taking up 2. And that's okay. I mean, it works. They're not hard to build, these boxes. But got the squash out, the zucchini out. I want you to see what I did. I've been working on the ground around here, left 1 spot, and my battery's dead, so that's gonna be bothering me till I recharge. But got the squashes and zucchinis out, and I'm gonna plant green beans in both of these beds. I think I'm gonna do pretty good on the harvest with that. Got our tomatoes trellised up. These are Cherokee purple. Right now they're looking a little red, but got some disease on them, but I can cut that out and eat them. And because of how I had to clean them out, I've got 1 plant with like 4 liters. Normally I would do 1 liter per plant, but you do what you gotta do. And then I've got some coming up in this middle space that'll run up this string. And then I'm gonna actually come and put some marigolds and some basil in here. I was late to do that. I should have already done it because that keeps some of the pests back. And I gotta do a little bit of work. You can see here we got another one trying to branch off of the main one. This is the main stem. Gotta do some more wrapping. I just watered them there. That's why they're kind of wilted looking, but I think I'm gonna come back. I've been talking about it and now it's time to do it. I'm gonna spray Roundup, try to kill all this Bermuda because it keeps growing into these beds. And then maybe come out to about right here and put an edger so they can't run their roots up under the ground and kind of box this whole area out. I'm gonna have to spray a bunch of Roundup to kill that. But if y'all know something that kills Bermuda better than Roundup, let me know. I'm trying to get rid of it and it is a nightmare, but everything's going well. Oh, here's another little trick. So I don't know if this works or not, but it looks cool. So I got my little pan of water out here because supposedly it helps keep the birds from pecking your tomatoes. They're going after the moisture in your tomatoes. But if you put a frog in it, it looks cool too. And bees and things like that can come get water and they can crawl up on the frog, or you could put a rock in there and get out, but it's kind of cool. So I kind of try to leave that out there as sort of a semi-bird bath. Maybe it'll help. I was gonna put bird netting up here, but it doesn't seem to, it just gets in the way. So if I can avoid that, I'm gonna try it. But that's the garden right now. Working on my compost pile area. I let it get out of control, cutting it back, and I'm gonna try to just smooth this out, I think, and spray Roundup on this area too, and just use these bins. We've been adding a little bit to the compost, but you can see there, got a lot of stuff. If you could look below that though, I've got a ton of compost down in there that's doing well. Here's the other trash can one. I need to roll it around, and I'm not far from finished compost, but if you get a couple of them going, you'll I think that's what my main compost is going to be, and then I can just dump them out onto a screen, make my own compost, and have it ready to go. But that's where we are right now. Y'all have a good afternoon.